Hey there everyone, welcome to the first episode of my parkour guide. In this particular video we're going to be taking a look at how to think with wall runs. So we're going to be looking at how to read the terrain and how to use your surroundings as effectively as possible. Now, we're not going to be going into the deep specifics of all the techniques that you could possibly do, but we're going to be going through a basic primer of what you need to be thinking about and what needs to be going through your head at all times in order to succeed. First up, let's talk about reading the terrain. First things first, you need to be familiar with your surroundings, which means exploring all the maps in the game, and having a good idea of where all your potential wall running surfaces live in the world. You need to be aware of everything in the world that can enhance your movement and be able to use those in a pinch. Private matches are a great way to practice, but why not bring it into your normal matchmaking games right away? You've got nothing to lose, and only speed to gain. So, what exactly does reading the terrain actually mean? I would define it as choosing a point in the world that you want to reach, observing your surroundings, and choosing the most optimal path you can think of in a pinch to reach that place as quickly as you can. So it's not all about knowing the best routes at all times, it's about being able to choose your own and make one up on the fly whenever you absolutely need to. So you could try doing this by running in straight lines, but in Titanfall a straight line isn't always the fastest route. Going twice the distance at 3 times the speed thanks to wall running is always going to be faster and more effective and harder for enemies to react to than taking the shortest path available by taking a straight line. However, just for giggles, let's take a look at how long it takes us to move in a straight line before and after you're finished learning from this guide. So if that's not convincing to you, then I just don't know what is. Those clips show how important it is just to learn your fundamentals of wall running, bunny hopping, and skipping in order to traverse maps as fast as you possibly can. Your fundamentals are the difference between playing Titanfall as it's meant to be played and playing Call of Duty Fall like most people wrongly prefer to play as of right now. So how can I improve my fundamentals? How do I get better and learn proper movement? How do I approach the game from a parkour perspective and shift my focus away from being so grounded? Just do it. It's as simple as that. While the parkour guide is going to get you off your feet and learning to soar, there's no replacement for your own practice, trial, and error. Just do it and keep doing it and doing it and doing it all the time. Don't stop. Know that you achieve maximum velocity from riding zip lines instantaneously, and you can disembark at full speed whenever you desire. Know that firing your jump kit hurts your velocity and should only be fired when necessary or just prior to entering a wall run. Know that jumping once, as soon as you hit the ground, allows you to maintain nearly all the momentum you had before you touched the ground, as you saw in the comparison clip previously. We want to avoid interiors whenever possible as well. This isn't to say that wall running indoors in tight situations is bad or ineffective, that's actually very far from the case. But since we're just getting started, we want to try sticking to exteriors as much as we can where we have lots of freedom in our movement. With this freedom in movement comes another fundamental idea of the source engine that you need to be aware of. It's possible to strafe in mid-flight to alter your trajectory. Use this to your advantage to take 90-degree turns between 2 perpendicular walls much more smoothly, or to reach locations you otherwise would not be able to. One really important thing to note is that you don't always need to be using these parkour skills on the offensive. Using them defensively is just as powerful and just as important for you to practice and get better at. So for one example, like you can see in this clip that's about to get started here, is that I'm trying to rodeo an Atlas and I just completely whiff my jump. So I figure, okay, I need to go run away, somebody else is shooting at me, I need to get the heck out of there. I'm trying to wall run away, but I get blasted up in the air by a 40 mil, so I immediately try to read the terrain and figure out, okay, what is my most effective way of, getting out of this situation, keeping myself alive. And as you can see, I was able to immediately recover, figure out another path, whether it was ideal or not doesn't matter, just another path to get out of there quickly that didn't involve me just sitting on the ground. As you can see, it kept me alive long enough for me to get my Titan to drop and try to engage that Titan and kill him before he's able to extract. In summary, spend as much time as you can practicing your fundamentals. Head over to a map like Training Ground or War Games, plant yourself in a random spot on the map, and try to figure out for yourself how you're going to get there while touching the ground as little as you possibly can. Now, skipping across the ground, or bunny hopping as it might be known by some people, with high momentum is one of the fastest ways around in the game, so don't restrict yourself from using the ground as an extra wall. It's not like we're playing the floor as lava here. However, if you're ever reduced to sprinting on the ground or wall running for more than a second, you've made an error. That's your indication to keep trying until you figure things out. If you happen to learn some cool routes and memorize them, awesome. But just remember that this isn't about routes. This is about figuring routes out in a pinch for whatever purposes you may need. That's all for this first episode. Be sure to come back next time where I'll be covering all the most important advanced parkour techniques in much more detail. If you found this guide helpful, then please like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments section if there's any particular parkour techniques you want to see covered in future videos. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.